Coach, who are players on Temple to watch, but also how your thoughts on John Coach McKie has done with Temple this year?
Yeah, I'll answer the last question first. Aaron's done it his way, and he's gotten the kids to play through his lens. They play Temple basketball. When I think of Temple basketball, I think of Coach Chaney, one of the best players he ever had, and one of the storied basketball programs in the nation is at Temple was Aaron McKie. When I see how hard they're playing, the development that team's made, and I think both our teams kind of reflect each other. When we played each other back in January, we were searching. They were searching. We had guys out. They had guys out. And to see where they were then to now, I think speaks volumes about what Aaron and his staff and those kids have done. As far as their best player, their best player is Damian Dunn. But, a guy that's kind of emerged for them is this Ty Strickland kid. He just hit 27 points last week in a game. They've got a gunner, an absolute flamethrower coming off the bench, and Zach Hicks. One of my favorite players on their team is Jaleel White, 6'7", do-it-all, extremely athletic. But he's one of those guys that's been a short closeout guy, which means you kind of treat him as a non-three-point shooter, but he's starting to knock that shot down, which makes him more dangerous. But they've got good players. The Jourdain kid has really developed at the 4 spot. They've got great size. Heiser Miller is coming on as a point guard. Good players, good team, good system. They play really, really hard, and they'll be a tough matchup.
We'll go to Joseph Duarte with the Chronicle. Joseph, go ahead.
Good morning, Kelvin.
Good morning.
Senior day, always emotional, Kelvin. Some of them, like Fabian, have been with you for a long time. Others, like Josh and Kyler, Taze have been with you a short time. Just any thoughts on just the day that you'll experience, the emotions, and what these young men have contributed to the program?
Yeah, it probably won't be as emotional for them. I doubt, because it's Taje's already had a senior night. Josh has already had a senior night. So the only two that have not is Kyler and Fabian. But those three guys are kind of exactly what we thought they would be. They filled the role through our evaluation and through the lens that we look at. They've been exactly what we thought they would be and what we hoped they would be. They're playing the role that they were recruited to do. Fabian, there's always one player in everybody's program that everybody asks, is that guy still there? How long has he been there? You can go back just about any team that you see on a regular basis. But I think that's a compliment to Fabian. Guys with his talent usually don't stay in school 5 years. They're itchy to get to their next stop. Some of them in a hurry for success, some of them in a hurry for failure. Just depends on what they're running from or running to. Fabian stayed the course. That's why he will always be one of the great Cougars in Coug Nation. Everybody's going to appreciate Fabian. It's always players like that. It's kind of like Greg Ward in football and Galen Robinson in basketball. Fabian now to me is on the Mount Rushmore. Not necessarily who's been the best players, although Fabian doesn't have to make any excuses for his talent level. But when you think about the accomplishments and the highs that we've had, we've been here, the growth that we've made, Fabian can touch almost all of it. He came in as a backup to Devin Davis. He worked his way into playing small with Devin. And then he started every year since then. One of the things I'll remember about Fabian, this is kind of an appreciation thing. is when he tore his ACL, we were all stuck in the middle of COVID. You know, that was when we were all quarantined. I couldn't go see him, but we would FaceTime each other. I remember FaceTiming him when he came from the hospital the day he had his surgery. He had his leg propped up, and we talked about the following year. Because I think this was late May 2020. And then as the year progressed, went from May to the fall, November. Fabian, John Houston said, Fabian's really doing well with his rehab. His knee looks good, it's stable. Then all of a sudden, Fabian's out there shooting the basketball. And I think the real reason why he came back that year was that he felt like he could help the team reach our goals or help the team get better. And he did. That was probably one of the most selfless acts of a player, of any player that I've ever coached. So I'll always appreciate Fabian for that.
We'll go back to Chris Gardner, please. Chris, go ahead.
Coach, when does planning for senior day, I guess, contacting the parents and all those kind of things begin?
You have to ask Lauren. She does.
She does handle that. I was wondering who handled that, so I was kind of curious about how that all works.
Lauren is Miss Senior Day.
All right. Thank you, Chris. We'll go back to Joseph Duarte. Joseph, go ahead.
Kelvin, I could follow up on Fabian. He's a COVID interruption, and then the analytics on how they did the winning percentage last year, away from being a four-time NCAA tournament appearances and 4 championships. You don't see that. I mean, like you said, it's longevity, but also the success he's been a part of. Does that also kind of sum up just what he's been a part of and like you said, staying in the course?
Yeah. I think every team that was knew they were going to be in the tournament, and you can get a confirmation for this somewhere. Say, well, we didn't go that one year. Well, think about Dayton with Obi Toppin and the year San Diego State was having all around the country. Trying to tell me those teams shouldn't count that as an NCAA tournament year. Sometimes we let other people dictate our thought processes. And sometimes you step up, and if you're right, and you are right, then you should stand up for it. So I think Fabian should be a 4-time NCAA tournament guy. I mean, he should have that distinction. He earned it. It's not our fault that COVID, put an asterisk beside of COVID. That's unfortunate. But I think what you're saying, though, Joseph, is that he knows nothing but winning. I mean, you think of the guys behind him; they know nothing but winning. The guys before him, we didn't go to the NCAA tournament. Galen's freshman year, I don't know. He did. We did. I know that we did not. But he played on 4 teams that won over 20 games and went to postseason every year. But nobody won at the level of Fabian in the history of Cougar basketball. That's a pretty neat title to hold, something to be proud of. And that's going to be hard to break. I think Hollis played for me at Oklahoma for 4 years. I think he won 112 games in 4 years. I could be off 1 or 2, but let's say it was 112. That's 28 wins a year for 4 years. Think about it. You average 28 wins a year for 4 straight years in college basketball. When 20 wins a year is kind of the norm when you consider having a great year. That's kind of the line standard. But Fabian, what number is he at now? 112. Sure. Might be. I remember when it was 110. I don't remember how many games ago. But he's going to win. Hopefully, 114, 15, 16, however how many more we can win. But you think about setting that bar for somebody to come break. I mean, somebody's going to have to average over 28 wins a year for 4 years to break his record. And I hope I coach that guy. that would kind of be neat to see Fabian's record get broken, but that's out there. That's like winning 45 games in football in 4 years. That's a hard one to break.
Should he be in the player of the year discussion, Kelvin?
I think the team that wins the conference championship, their best player, should be in the discussion. But for us, we've had two guys that's kind of carried the load all year. For a long portion of the year, it was Josh, and then here lately it's been Fabian. I think if people were to vote, they would probably take votes from each other.
Hey, Joseph, we'll go back to Chris Gardner. Chris, go ahead.
Coach, how much has Fabian evolved in terms of being vocal from time you spoke to him, met him in high school to now?
No, that's a great question. Chris, Fabian was the perfect Robin. What was the kid's name that went to Purdue?
Carson Edwards? Yeah.
He was a perfect Robin to Carson Edwards' Batman. Carson Edwards was an alpha. Fabian wasn't an alpha. He was okay. I'm not sure his family was okay with it. But Fabian was okay with it because that kind of paralleled his personality. And when he got here, he was still that guy. He wasn't an alpha. He wasn't a leader. You couldn't have seen that in his future when he got here. I mean, for God's sake, in high school, the only shot he didn't take when he was not facing the basket was a free throw. He was just a low post center. You had 3 4s or 2 3s, a 3 4, a 4 5. Well, Fabian is probably a 5 6 in high school. He's just a low post guy, nothing else. Didn't shoot jump shots. They ran a lot of back pick lobs for him. They throw it in the post. He'd get fouled. He'd shoot a free throw. That was kind of his offensive game. But, I think winning, the easiest way to motivate a kid is to build his self-esteem. Self-esteem, the reason why our kids have such high level of self-esteem is because they win so much. You stick your chest out and you hold your head up high, and especially when you've earned it. I don't know how many texts I got last night, but it seemed like the one word in every one of those texts from coaches all around the country, media people, former players, whoever, all those texts is you guys earned it. Well, I think you could say that about Fabian. Fabian's earned this. He's grown here. One of my greatest pleasures is watching guys like Fabian come in as freshmen and develop into the man he is. He came in here as a boy. He's just a big boy. Wasn't a little boy, he's a big boy. But now he's leaving as a grown man. He's found his voice. He commands respect from his teammates. Those are the things as he goes through the next phase of his life. And the thing they all realize once they leave and they get into professional basketball, how short their careers are. Because everybody leaves with dreams and goals and aspirations, and they find out quickly what a business it is. But you have to have left with something. The thing I'm proud of is the man he's grown into be, and that he left here with his degree. He graduated. Maybe there's a graduate of the University of Houston, and he's a Houston kid. That is really important in our program. So watching him find his voice, watching him find his footing, seeing him grow to be a leader, cares about his teammates, he's selfless, he values winning over statistics. Those are the kind of guys you want to be in the face of your program.